And then just show of hands, girls at the table, do you agree with her? Should boyfriends be providers in relationships?
Depends on their age, though, because like you can't expect if you're 18 dating someone
Say
18.
you're 20, Nia, you're 23?
Yeah.
She's 23. You think 23, is that fair age to, by that point?
Maybe not expect to be completely provided for, but like
pay for dates.
Pay for a lot of things.
That's a good idea. What do we mean by provider here?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Wait, no. What do you mean when you said maybe not pay for everything, but by 23 pay for more than just dates? Right?
Yeah,
so
like maybe help them out with bills or like their nails done and all that
stuff. Nails?
It's a kind gesture.
You got to
pay for a woman's nails.
Wait, okay, so I want to explore this a little bit. Boyfriends should be providers, right? Should girlfriends not be prostitutes?
Yes. Well, if I, like I said, I do OnlyFans. If I was with someone providing.
Well, okay, here, I'll make it simpler.
Then.
Should girlfriends not be involved in sex work of any kind?
There's just such a big difference.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I do agree. Yes.
Oh, you
shouldn't.
agree? Okay.
And if I was with someone providing, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
You'd quit?
Yes.
Isn't that a vicious circle, though? Like, if you say a boyfriend should provide for me, but a boyfriend should not provide for a sex worker, but I'm a sex worker, then that leads to boyfriend should not provide for me, right?
Now,
so, like, what?
Right now, I'm providing for myself, and that's the way I'm providing.
Yeah, okay, well, then let's take it to the next step. Should a boyfriend provide for a woman who was a sex worker?
I don't see anything wrong with it. If he's dating me, he knows what I was doing, so he's going to be okay with it.
He's just got to chin it, hey?
He's going to know.
You can't start dating someone that you know is
so,
doing OnlyFans.
So here's our circle now. The circle is, no, yes, boyfriend should provide, unless it's a sex worker, right? I'm a sex worker, therefore boyfriend should not provide for me, but if I stop being a sex worker, then boyfriend should provide, right? That seems like a very, very bad plan, right? It's like it's saying inside your own belief structure that a boy should not provide for you, right? You don't think so, at least not right now. But when you decide to stop and allow a boy to provide for you, that he should look past the thing that they shouldn't provide for you right now that you're doing.
Well, like I said, it's what I'm doing to provide for myself at the moment.
Right.
That's my way of providing. And like, for example, my last relationship, he was okay with what I was doing.
Sure.
Like, the next partner I date, they're gonna know obviously what I'm doing.
Totally understand all of that. And I agree with you that your next partner has to know.
If they continue talking to me and stuff, they're gonna know, like.
Totally
like
agree.
Said, so they're obviously gonna be okay with it.
Yeah, I agree that they would even be okay with it, but that doesn't actually do anything about this inconsistency. So I agree that your next boyfriend definitely is gonna be okay with it. Your next boyfriend's definitely going to know, right? Otherwise, he's not going to be with you. He wouldn't be your boyfriend, right? That wouldn't make any sense. But what is the reason that a boy should not be with you if you are currently a sex worker versus if you're formerly one?
Wait, sorry.
What is the quality here about being a sex worker that you think a boyfriend should not fund?
I'm just saying me, like, if they didn't like it, like if the conversation came up and they're like, oh, like, would you quit? I would.
Okay, so you're not actually saying that boyfriends shouldn't fund their women's lifestyles if they're sex workers. You're just saying it's okay if they don't.
It's okay, but I'm just saying that's what I prefer, and that's what I believe.
Yeah, no, I think I get it. You're not saying that they should. You're just saying if they choose to, that's okay. If they choose not to fund me because I'm a sex worker, that's okay.
Yes, but okay. I would leave.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Right, I understand. I'm just saying it's not that they should or shouldn't then. It's just if they don't mind is really what you mean. It's not really a should or shouldn't because, right?
I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, personally, even for yourself.
I think they should.
They should.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they don't,
then you're not going to be with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Got it.
Well, what about maybe the fact that we live in a new generation and times are changing, and there are a lot of women out here who have OnlyFans.
Sure.
And what about
I was
like,
actually
guys adapting
interestingly
to that?
enough, I saw a now I haven't dove into this, right? So this could be completely wrong, right? Because I haven't dove into it, but it wouldn't surprise me that it could be as high as 1 in 20 of the Zoomer women will end up doing sex work of some type in her lifetime is the projection. Now, I could be way off on that, and fact check me for sure, right? Because I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, right? So I'm going to concede that ground right away to you.
Okay, and then yeah, exactly. How would you feel if you found a boyfriend and you guys are together, and then he starts treating you really, really well, and then he asks you will you delete your OnlyFans for me? And you go, of course I will, because you guys are on an understanding. He's treating you right, you're treating him right. I will delete my OnlyFans for you. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm going to explain. I'm not going to mince any words. If it was my son, let's say, came to me and said, Dad, I love this woman. She's great. She treats me amazing, okay? And I just adore her. She engages in sex work. I'd say kick her to the curb, get rid of her. Absolutely not. Under no circumstances should you ever be with a woman like that. Way too good for her in every conceivable way. Don't do it. What would actually be the objection to that?
Yeah, well,
would you disown him? Would you
I'm not
still
sure
love
that
him?
I'm not sure that I would disown him.
Exactly.
I would
Then-
disown him. It wouldn't be immoral if she quit sex work for him to marry her or this type of thing. I wouldn't make a moral claim that he was doing something morally wrong. My advice to him, though, would be absolutely under no circumstances should you do this. You know what I mean? And it's a really bad idea, and you can find somebody way better than that. That would be my advice.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
I kind of believe that that's a narcissistic point of view, but
Why is it
that's how-
narcissistic?
because, like I said, times are
hang on,
changing.
let's get our terms right. What is a narcissist?
A man who just
A man.
a man.
A man?
Yeah,
A man.
literally, a man who is just delusional, honestly.
A man who is delusional.
Narcissist?
You don't think it's delusional for a sex worker to expect that she's going to get Prince Charming?
I personally don't ever expect to find Prince Charming.
Sure.
I've kind of accepted that I will be
I think
alone because of the
Well,
decisions
I don't
I've
understand.
made
What would the delusion here be?
as a narcissist.
No, what would the delusion here be by telling your son not to date a sex worker under any circumstances, even if you loved her?
If that's your opinion as a father, I don't think that's delusional.
Then
That's
why
not
would it
what
be narcissistic?
I didn't say that was narcissistic.
Well, then what's the narcissistic part?
Okay, bring it back. When did I say the narcissism? What were you talking
When
about?
I said that you shouldn't, if I said I would tell my son under no circumstances should you date a sex worker ever, period. You said that sounds narcissistic. Mm-hmm. What about that's narcissistic? If narcissism means delusional.
Okay, and I will say again, because I think that times are changing, and I think that you guys need to broaden your horizon.
Sure, I get all that, but what about this is narcissism?
It sounds like you guys are wanting to own a woman
Yeah, but what about that would be narcissism?
because you can't own a woman. A woman's gonna be able to still have free will,
I'm sorry, there's places in the world where people clearly own women, right?
and that's crazy.
But it's not delusional.
That is delusional.
No, they clearly own them. There's no delusion there.
That's fucked up.
Maybe it's fucked up, and I agree with you, it's fucked up, but it's not delusional.
That is delusional.
What's the
What?
delusion? Do you
That's
agree that they
narcissism,
own the woman?
Delusional. That's evil.
It's evil. Yes, it's evil. It's wrong. It's immoral, but it's not delusional. Delusional is it's an untruth. It's
so-
not true.
Listen
Maybe-
very
maybe
carefully.
you're-
Listen
You're not
carefully.
listening.
Listen
To you,
carefully.
you're-
it feels like delusional.
Yeah,
like,
but you're not
can't believe
because you're not
that's real.
listening, right? You got to listen to what's actually
I'm
being
listening.
Listen
said.
to the words.
Don't tell me I'm not listening when I am. But go on.
Oh, okay. You're listening?
Yeah.
Human beings can't own each other and have never been able to?
He's not saying should.
Hang on.
He's not saying should.
Have they been able to?
Sadly.
Sadly, they have, right? So if I acknowledge that that is true, isn't that the opposite of delusion?
But I'm saying that I think that it's delusional that is a thing. To
Okay.
own someone and
hang
that
on,
it
hang
was-
on.
Okay.
I'm not giving a moral prescription here and
Mm-hmm.
saying it's right. I'm just saying that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't understand how it's delusional to who acknowledge that there are people right now, men right now, who own women.
Well, I don't think it's delusional to know that.
You're right,
That,
right.
that they're delusional for owning women. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying
but
to
okay,
say.
but how? Where's the delusion there? They own the woman. Right? What's the delusion?
All of it. It's
What do you mean
it's
by delusion?
immoral.
Can you-
Well, yeah,
It's
what does
like-
delusion mean here?
It's a definition thing. It's not.
Yeah, what do you mean by delusion?
Delusion to me means not true. You
Okay.
living something that's not true, and you believe it is
Okay,
true.
okay, then yeah, I'm
She's
using
just saying those guys
delusional
are
in the
cuckoo.
wrong way.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they're crazy and it's immoral and it's
Okay,
fucking
yes,
evil and
yeah.
all that. Like, I'm not disputing any of that. But if narcissism means delusional, I'm trying to get to the part where it's delusional here. Like, where's the delusion?
In
When I
narcissist?
say don't date a sex worker, what's the delusion here? Like, you have to? Right? I don't know what the delusion is.
Okay, then I'm not using delusion in the right terms.
Or
then, yeah?
narcissism, maybe.
Narcissism.
So maybe me and you can agree on some other things, right? So
Okay.
maybe narcissism is, I would say, it's an antisocial behavior, which is extraordinarily rare,
Okay.
like super duper rare. And even people who diagnose it get it wrong often and claim that they get it wrong often, right? Because there's no specific criteria where you could meet all the criteria and still not be that thing. So it's a very hard like diagnosis, right? I've talked to various doctors, medical professionals who've explained this multiple times to me on my program, right? It's a very, very difficult diagnosis. So when people use the term narcissist, I just want to know, does that just mean you're an asshole? Is that what we're saying is like narcissist just means he's a fucking asshole?
No, just like in my experience with dealing with a narcissist, just someone who thinks that they can do whatever they want, walk over women,
Sure.
treat women however they want.
Yeah, but why is any of that narcissistic?
No empathy. They don't feel empathy.
Sure, you can meet all those
So
criteria,
they're
though.
lying,
You could be a
they're
person who
manipulative.
chronically lies, is very egotistical, right? Believes that you're better than everybody around you, and still not meet the criteria for being a narcissist.
What's a narcissist then? Like
It's
the
very
definition?
difficult. It's a very nebulous term, just like most of these psychological diagnoses, right? Psychopathy, for instance, doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as a psychopath. There's no actual diagnosis for a psychopath anywhere in the DSM. Never has been.
Well, I'm just thinking of certain people in my life, and it's just like you're telling me this. Then what are they? Are they
Maybe
just
narcissistic
assholes?
tendencies.
That's what I think. I think that when they say narcissist, they just fucking mean asshole, right? Just
or like
an asshole.
have narcissistic tendencies. Like
Yeah, but
not
what does
full.
that mean? So again, it's such a nebulous term that has so many different criteria which it can or can't be that I'm always very, very skeptical when somebody says narcissist because I'm not even really sure what it means.
Okay, well,
Doesn't it also mean like somebody with a fake ego?
Could
or like
be.
somebody who like hypes himself up and to the
Sure.
world they seem like this person on this moral high ground, but they treat the people closest to them like crap.
Could be. All those could be criteria for that, or you could meet all of those criteria and still not be it. That's the why I think it's nebulous.
Same with
right?
a lot of these diagnoses.
Same with a lot of these diagnoses. So because of that, I'm always very cautious about calling somebody a narcissist or a psychopath or things like this. I tend to use like lunatic, but I use it as a broad scope term to
Yeah.
just mean you're a fucking weirdo, right?
Yeah, I
not
don't
as
throw
an
those words
actual
around.
like I've diagnosed you with
Yeah.
lunacy. So, but back to this, I don't think it's delusional to say to my son, never date a sex worker. No, or a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Like never date a sex worker,
no,
no matter
you're right.
what.
It's not delusional.
Yeah,
to
it's
tell
not
your
delusional.
Child that no.
So there's no problem with me saying that, right? There's no like objection you would have to saying that.
As long
But I
as
think
you're-
that's the advice a lot of dads are going to give their kids.
Yeah, on any parent, I'm sure would say that to
Yeah.
their child.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like don't date a drug dealer or like
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, like it's just you're looking out. You're looking out.
Yeah, it's a
And that's-
nefarious
that's
posi-
fine
it-
as long as you don't drop them and say that you don't like your kid or like you like no longer want to associate with your kid just because they, follow through with it. You
What
know,
would be wrong with that?
Yeah.
you
Like if your kid
raised that kid.
Yeah, but if your kid became a sex worker,
say you don't love your kid without
and
saying
that's
you
not.
don't love your kid.
Those are two
you know?
different things.
What?
Disassociating from a child doesn't mean you don't love them.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you tell them, no, I do not like you anymore. You are out of my life forever.
Yeah, you can exclude them from your life forever. Doesn't mean you don't love them.
Well, I'm saying they told you they don't love you.
Yeah, well, that's
Like,
different,
that's
right?
what I'm saying is
so if you
messed
just
up.
directly
That's
say to
the
someone, "I
only-
don't love you," yeah, I think that there's
that's
a
the only
distinction.
thing,
Sure.
That's the only thing I would think that would make that situation.
Yeah, I'll
not
grant
good.
that distinction, right? I just don't think that that's what happens. I think that parents tend to distance themselves from kids who do horrible things. And they don't
Yeah, for
want
sure.
they don't want that association with their family. That seems fair to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
They're
think
like,
with
you're
sex
bad
workers,
news. You're
it's
a
just
problem.
not that deep.
You're doing problematic things, and I don't want the association with my family name, right?
Yeah, that's
I-
totally fine.
Seems
I
reasonable.
get that.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to want the best for your child. It's also important to consider that there are societal norms in like the state you're in, the continent, etc. And every family has different dynamics and different expectations for their children. So it's like totally, valid to not want your child.
If
to do
that's
something
true,
like that.
then why would you ever say the universal word better? Like, it's okay to want what's better for your kid. If that just means a ton of different things to a ton of different people, right? Then I don't know what we're even talking about when we say better. I would think that we would agree on some things with better. So here's maybe some universal agreements for better that you and I can agree to. I want my kid to be really healthy. Healthier than me.
Do I say yes every time?
Well, I'm just asking
agree.
you. Do you agree that that's better?
Yes.
Okay, I want my kid to be able to make more money than I did. I think that's better.
Yes.
Okay, I want my kid to have a kind of a very unique standard in the world where they're able to pursue their dreams in accordance with the morality of Christianity.
If that is your belief, I respect it. So, yeah,
It's
if
better.
that's your household.
These are all better, right?
Yeah, when the kids.
So
are
then,
like
so
that,
then,
like
so
that.
then, by this standard, then what's worse, right?
I think it depends on the paradigms within a family and
Mm-hmm.
what that family expects of their children. Like, for example, my mom has been supporting every step of the way. I actually asked her before I started. I said, "Hey, this is really important to me. I need your approval before I start this." Like,
What
I'm
about your
about
dad?
I don't have any access to him at all. He wanted me aborted, so he just stopped contact. So,
Fatherless home, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I think that Chase used to say this a lot, and he'd be on the program, that he associated fatherlessness with sex work. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that, because if you look at sex workers come from single mom families, it's pretty overwhelmingly high, right? I think that generally speaking, it seems to be the dads who put the kibosh on that, right? They don't want their daughters to engage in that. Like, I think from the perspective of a father, it's like revolting to them, right? It's just totally
Oh
revolting.
yeah, no, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't want my dad to be. I don't have a dad either. He's in prison. But
Yeah, there's a theme here tonight.
But like, if my dad were like all like happy and stuff about like my OnlyFans, I feel like I'd be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That would be really weird. I don't know. My grandma and grandpa, they don't.
I don't know.
they
Why
don't
is it
like
less weird for your mom to be supportive, though?
My mom's weird. I think it's weird. Oh, I think it's weird.
Isn't
My
that?
mom
I
is
mean,
weird.
but you see what I'm saying?
My
Like,
mom's
why is it?
super
Would it be
weird.
less weird for the mom to be supportive than the dad to be supportive? To me, it's like
make that
equally.
bad.
It should
I
be
don't know.
equally
If my
revolting
kid
to
has
both.
one, just
I would
don't
think.
tell me. I don't want to know about it. And if other people talk to me about it, I'd say, "Why are you're weird for telling me that?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know that about my kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's none of my business, personally. I just don't hurt yourself. I feel like I'd be a little sad if it was like I don't have any issue with porn stars, but like,
Well, where I
it
was
can
going
be
with
bad
this,
with your mental health.
I'm
and that
glad
would
you
make
brought
me
this up,
feel
because where I was
bad.
going with this is idea of better. So this is my ultimate question: do you think it's better if you have kids for them not to go into sex work? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better?
No, I'm like thinking about it for real.
Okay. Better?
Better, but if they wanted to, I wouldn't judge them.
Then, but, okay, so you'd let them do something. Like, what if you were the deciding vote? If they're like, I really want to do this, Mom, and I think I'd be really good at it. It's going to make me a lot of money. Okay? And you were the deciding vote. If you said on the one way, go ahead and do it, that would be the deciding factor for that kid, and they would go ahead and do it. Versus if you said, don't do it, that's the deciding factor, and they wouldn't, which way would you fall?
I would let them do it if they wanted to.
So you would say, go ahead.
Because I do it. So why would I tell my kid they can't do it?
Oh, well, that's true. I smoke. Why wouldn't I tell my 5-year-old they can't smoke?
Yeah, but
Does that make sense, right?
Like, am I gonna choose if they want to? Am I gonna tell my kid, "Oh, I want you to be a doctor. You're gonna be a doctor"? Like,
No, that's not. You're gonna. No.
No, if
That's
they
a.
wanna
There's a
do-
distinction here in the pursuance of career. So, the askance here is like I smoke cigarettes. My
Well, that's the
5-year-old.
same
My
thing
5-year-old
as the
comes
way
to
I'm
me.
putting
The
it.
5-year-old comes to me and says, "Dad, you smoke. You have no business telling me I can't."
Smoking and me comparing it to being something is different. You're
Why? What's the
comparing it to
difference? That
something
you're making an
completely
argument from
different.
hypocrisy. Yes, you
Because
can't
we're
tell
talking
them this
about
because it
if
would
they
make you a
wanna do
hypocrite.
sex work, okay. I wouldn't judge my child if they want to do it.
But would it be
because I do
better?
it. Yes, I said before. I said yes, it would be better. But if they wanted to do it, I wouldn't.
Then you would tell them to do the thing that wasn't better.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying I wouldn't. Yes, it would be better.
So how do you want what's best?
It would be
Yeah,
better.
headache.
It would, but
Because
if
you're
they
supporting what they want to
Yes.
So
do.
wait, hang on.
It
I want
would be
what's best for
better.
you.
Yes. but
Okay,
am I gonna
okay, but
tell
you're the
them
deciding
or
vote.
disown
You're the.
them
I'm not
and
asking you to do
say,
any of
"Oh,
that.
no,"
Nobody asked you to
like-
do any of that. You're just the deciding vote. You can just, based on your advice at this critical moment, right now, when they say, "Mom, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a lot of money," and you even foresee, "Hey, she's a beautiful girl. She can probably make a lot of money," right? You're the decider. Your advice at this critical moment of saying, "Don't do this," she won't do it. But if you say, "Go ahead and do it," she will do it.
You
If
asked if
you
it would be
hang on,
better.
let me finish the question. If you say that it would be better if you're not in sex work, and you say, "I want what's best for you," then how would you not say not to do it? That's what I don't get.
I would say that's no,
No.
because it would be best for them. But if they did do it, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't feel any way. Like they could do what they want.
But you would advise them not to.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Would
That's
you
all.
advise them to smoke? If that kid did come and say, "Mom, I want to smoke,"
How old are they?
20.
If they're 20, if they came to me and told me they wanted to smoke, I would say yes. If they're with me, I would
Mom, I
prefer-
want to do heroin.
No,
Mom, I want to do crack.
no.
Why?
But
But I mean, I
understand
don't
how
know.
that's similar.
It's
Why
the
not?
train of logic. Why not?
It's completely different.
different than
Yeah, like
how so?
because it is.
Because there's negative connotations on a person's life if they do the thing, right? And so we're looking at the negative
Rephrase?
outcomes and consequences of the thing that you're doing. And so if you were looking at the negative outcome and consequences of being a sex worker, right, then we're looking at what's best. This would be the same thing as like crack cocaine, right? It's best that you don't smoke crack, right?
It's not the same thing.
Why?
How is that the same thing?
Well, we're making an
Crack
analogy.
cocaine is completely.
These are both cups,
different.
right?
But they're both cups.
Hang on. They're both.
It's not
Hang on.
cocaine and
Stop.
sex-
Hang on.
they're
They're both.
completely
They're both
different.
cups, right?
Yes.
Is this one made out of paper?
Yes.
And is this one made out of glass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they're two different things. But we can still make an analogy, right? Using the
But
two. Hang on.
cocaine-
If I was talking about the filling of the cups, we could still make an analogy based on the cups, even though they're not the exact same cup, because everything on planet Earth is different from everything else. That's why we use analogies, right?
Okay, so you're saying weed, cigarettes are the same thing as heroin
No,
and
I'm saying
meth?
that the logic for what is best would be the same, right? So what is best for you? So I'd say, okay, if I'm thinking best, I'd say, okay, don't smoke, that's what's best for you. I'd say, don't do sex work, that's what's best for you. The logic entailment would be exactly the same. What's best? So when I say, okay, I want what's best for my kids, then I'd be looking at the big picture of what is best. So my advice, I'm not saying, oh, if you started smoking, Junior, that's it. You're done. You're out of the will. Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever come back, right? But if I was the critical vote, if they were going to do it one way or the other based on what I said, then my vote would be don't do it, right? That's what's best. That's all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you phrase your questions a certain way, make us sound stupid, and then you rephrase it and then agree with
He's
us.
actually doing the total
Yes.
opposite. What he's doing is he's trying to make it
Yes.
as simple as possible for you so that you can understand it, and then he steelmans your case and explains to you what you think, and then he brings you to the logical conclusion. It's actually the opposite. He could easily use sophistry to confuse you if he wanted to, but he's making it as simple as possible.
And the reason I want to make sure is because I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. So that's why I always repeat back what you say to me. What you mean is X? Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, now I know.
Why haven't I felt that way this whole time then?
But because most people don't like the entailments of their positions, which means most people haven't really thought through what it is that they think about certain things. And when you ask probing questions, they don't like. They can foresee that by answering the question, it's going to lead to an answer that they themselves don't like. And so they become very resistant to answering the question because they know it's going to end up with, uh-oh, fuck, this doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, but I feel like for the most part, we haven't really been resisting. We've been like coming to an understanding.
Well, no, you haven't been evasive, but you haven't been evasive because, like he says, I'm very poignant with the questions, right? And that's why I steel man the position. Just want to make sure I know exactly where you're coming from.